Hello, friends. Today I'm going to go ahead and discuss about the box office prediction for Shahid Kapoor and Kriti Shannon's latest movie, that is Teri Baaton mein Aisa Uljha Jiya. And I'm going to try and make it as interesting as possible. I'm going to analyze the movie from various aspects, and I'm going to talk about whether I feel this movie is going to work or not. Okay, so for starters, I would just like to tell you, I think many people have a kind of misconception that when you actually release a movie in the theaters, uh, that is what actually makes or breaks that movie. Well, I would just like to break that myth. When you actually release the movie in theaters, that movie has already made up his production cost and everything, and he it is just a run based on which they try and gain some extra mileage and some extra money. So if you're asking me whether Teri Baaton Mein Aise Uljha Jiya, is it a flop, is it a hit, I'm not going to go into technically that term, because that is going to be possibly decided in a box office, right? Because when the movie releases, based on that, they will probably go ahead and make a profit or a loss, right? Based on the ticket sales. But has it made up its production cost? I would just like to tell you, most probably it has, based on their OTT rights, music rights, everything. Already the production costs are more or less realized, and especially in a very kind of a movie with such a niche subject. I wouldn't say that Shahid Kapoor and Kriti Shannon are exactly very cheap. I'm not saying, don't take it otherwise. I'm not saying cheap as in cheap. I'm saying they are not exactly uh, actors who charge very paltry fees. They have a good signing amount, yet still, what happens with a movie like this is you really don't need too much of VFX, special effects, so the production cost is little less. Like, I mean to say, this is probably in the range of within 50 crores or 40 crores or something like that, compared to a movie like Fighter, which is about 200, over 200 crores, because that's a massive scale movie. This is just a love story, and probably the special effects, the most rudimentary special effects which could be used is because Kriti Shannon is a robot. We might have some CGI on those aspects, but it's not a movie which is made on a huge budget, and for which it needs to make a lot of numbers to break even. Okay, so a small movie like this, before release only, has made up a major amount of its production costs from OTT rights, music rights, various other rights and sponsorships. And even if they actually keep the promos to down to a certain extent, they can make the movie work. Nowadays what happens is, these kinds of movies go for some viral marketing stunts. They don't go for conventional promotion items. Like, for example, if you watch the YouTubes or any other channels nowadays, you will notice that there are certain reels of Shahid Kapoor and Kriti Shannon bonding. They are just walking, and then Shahid Kapoor slaps her hand, and she just, oh my god, it hurt a while. It's these are tricks which are being done because these don't need a lot of production, a lot of promo cost. At the same time, it captures the attention of the viewer to the chemistry of Kriti and Shahid, and they are interested in this movie. So this is a kind of a new form of viral marketing which has started. I don't know whether they are doing it unknowingly or purposely. I am not sure about it, but it is working actually for this movie, because every time I go into the YouTube shorts part, I'm watching that there are quite a few Shahid Kapoor Kriti Shannon interactions which are popping on my feed, and that is generating a huge amount of curiosity about this movie. Now, let's talk about this movie, and let's analyze whether this movie is going to be a hit or not. Um, as per my analysis, I think this movie is going to be a hit. Uh, not because it's necessarily it's a good movie or that, because I'm not really sure about that. It's very early to comment upon it based on the trailer, but I was not very um, moved by the trailer because I think the subject is very interesting, that Kriti is a robot and Shahid falls in love with her. It is for the first time we are watching a movie like this. But based on that, what I watched in the promos did not really engage me as such. But having said that, I wouldn't say that it may not be engaging for other viewers. It could definitely be, because some other viewers, I mean to say the general audience, probably views the movie in a certain way which I don't, and I do not have that foresight, or maybe I don't have that acumen, or I don't have that perception based on which I can probably say, okay, this movie is great, and I'll go ahead and watch it based on the promo. I mean to say, it does not. It, to some people might be the promos and everything is appealing, but for me it's not. Yet still, this movie will work because of certain reasons. Number one is, of course, the viral marketing which is going on, wherein we are seeing a very natural chemistry between Shahid Kapoor and Kriti Shannon. And when people are watching that, they are liking it. I think they are liking it. I'm liking it. I'm liking the chemistry between both the pairs. So that is engaging, and yes, people are interested and curious how this pair is going to work. Okay, so there is a certain degree of curiosity and interest about this movie which will work for this movie. Number one. Number two, all the songs are really good. I mean to say, commercial numbers, and Shahid has danced his heart out. He's an excellent dancer. Many people don't go ahead and give enough marks to Shahid, but he is actually, I would say, if I'm talking about Bollywood, he is probably, I would say, as good as Ritik. I know many people might say that, what are you talking about? But in my book, Shahid Kapoor is as accomplished a dancer as Ritik. Probably Ritik goes ahead and scores a few points more because there is some sort of a natural vibe to him, which probably Shahid is a trained dancer from Shamatava's troupe, which probably Shahid lacks a little bit. But still, if you are asking me, it's a dream to watch both of them together. And all the songs, and in some of the songs, Shahid has done so well. In one song in particular, I think it is Teri, I think the title song, right? He has done so well. That has really worked for this movie. So, to make these kinds of movies work in the commercial area in Bollywood, you need to do these two things when it comes to a love story. Okay, one is create an interest about the lead pair, which has worked based on this viral marketing which they are doing, and second is the songs and the dance of Shahid. He has really done an excellent job. Okay, so these two things have worked well for this movie. Third is, of course, the niche factor, because people are tired of watching love stories, so this has something very interesting, and that is Kriti Shannon is a robot, and Shahid Kapoor has fallen in love with her, and how the movie develops, let's wait and watch. I was more interested about the moral dilemmas or the predicament which Shahid might face when falling in love with Kriti as a robot. But what I can see through the promos is it's basically a kind of a comedy love story. That's the feel which it gives. I'm not sure about it, but it's not the moral dilemmas a man might face if he actually falls in love with a robot or artificial intelligence. For example, like as in Her, or or if you ask me, I'm not talking about a love story, but for example, think about Megan. Now, there's a certain section of audience who watched Black Mirror, who watched Megan, who watched Her. To them, I'm not sure whether this movie will appeal so much. I don't know whether they are going to go ahead and pay and go and watch this movie in a hall. Okay, they would rather wait for the OTT release. Okay, now, but there is a catch to it. The catch is it is releasing in Valentine's Day weekend that week. So all the guys have to take their girlfriends to watch a movie. And this is the easiest pick just after Fighter. Trust me, I think Fighter will still do very good business in the Valentine's Day weekend, because if some people haven't caught Fighter, they will take their girlfriends to watch Fighter, because it's a good patriotic movie, and all women love go ahead and watch. All women love Ritik, so it's a surefire winner. So I don't think it would be that much of an issue if the guy takes the his girl to watch Fighter. I'm sorry, I just lost it because there was a call which was coming. And the second choice, which will be probably this movie, because there could be some people who haven't watched, who are not brought up on, actually, who are really not into this kind of a zone. They've not watched Megan, they've not watched Her, they've not watched Black Mirror, they've not watched all these kinds of movies where people fall in love with artificial intelligence or robots and the moral dilemmas and predicaments they face. So to them, it might be a very new, novel concept. And if any one of them, either the boy or the girl, they haven't watched these kinds of movies, or both of them haven't watched these kinds of movies, they would go for this movie, and probably this movie will work for them. But ideally speaking, people who are into these kinds of stuff, I mean to say AI based love stories and relationships, I I personally, it did the promo did not work for me, because I realized it is in the promo. If the promo is what the movie is going to be all about, it's just like a Karan Johar movie which is being put into a garb of an artificial intelligence kind of a scenario and projecting it. It's more of a comedy rather than the moral choices or anything, because I that would have interested me more. But probably the makers said that let's make a light, frivolous movie and try it out in the uh, in the commercial arena, and let's see how it goes. So there is a certain section who will not probably go for this movie, because they are already um, sensitized or conditioned to these kinds of movies a lot, and they've watched much better movies than that. And there are two primary benchmarks, you can say. One is Megan, and one is Her. After watching those two kinds of movies, the moment I watched the trailer, it just put me off. I said, no, I'm not going to go ahead and watch this movie in a hall, because I know what exactly this movie is going to be like. And I don't want to spend my 500, 800 bucks on popcorn and all that to go ahead and watch it. The movie has to be very wholesome. The movie has to be something uh, with a message. The movie has to be something which I really love and I like, and I say, okay, fine, I've spent the money, and that is the reason why I went to the hall, watched it, and I came out. But if it is not, I'm sorry to say, I'm not going to spend my one penny on it. And that is what exactly I felt like. But that is my personal viewpoint. And uh, please don't take it as a kind of a thing that you don't go ahead and watch the movie, because I really wish Kriti Shannon and Shahid Kapoor all the very best for this movie. They have worked hard for this movie. I wish them all the success to that movie. But there's a certain section of audience which probably may not go for this movie. They would probably go for Fighter more than this, because Fighter to them, based on the promos and everything, has a more fervent, patriotic flavor and a much more wholesome movie from various angles. So, if people have not watched Fighter, they might watch it, and if they have watched it, there is also a repeat audience which is coming. They will take their family and watch it. So this movie is primarily going to be focused on the Cupid phenomena for the Valentine's Day week, and that is what would help this movie to become a hit. I do not predict a blockbuster, I predict a hit. And I predict probably a sleeper hit, I would say, but it will be a hit. And the reasons being, again, as I told you, uh, number one, the viral marketing which between Shahid and Kriti, and I really love the promos. They've really done a good job putting them in natural situations where they're just walking past each other, probably sitting on the stage, and those small shots which have been created. I don't know whether their team created it, how it has happened, but we are seeing we are seeing a flooding of Shahid Kapoor and Kriti Shannon together, and how they're interacting. Their vibe is good, their chemistry is good, and people are getting interested. They want to watch them both together. So that is the first factor which is working for this movie. Second, the songs and the dance of this Shahid Kapoor. He has really picked up everybody's interest with the songs and the dance routine, and he has done so well. I have never seen such craze regarding, because after a long time Shahid is dancing. I mean to say, he has danced, but for example, the last two ventures were not about his dancing; it was about his acting, right? Like if we look at Fuzzy and if we look at Bloody Daddy and all those things, it was more about his acting skills, action, and all these things. But it was not dancing. So we are watching Shahid after a long time dancing, and it's a big thing. So all Shahid fans love it, and even people watching it. And Shahid has a very niche audience. It's very interesting. If you see Shahid's audience base, it is there are people, but there are even oldies who love Shahid, and that is because of the Jab We Met phenomenon. In Jab We Met, he came across as this quintessential, decent, nice guy, and I'll tell you, my father is a big fan of Shahid Kapoor, and when they watch him going ahead and writing like doing such great stuff, he's dancing so well, they like it, and they're saying, oh, Shahid is coming, Shahid is in this movie. So that is again working for this movie. That's great. And of course, the niche subject of this movie, I don't know how well they're going to realize it. I think it's more of a comedy, which has put me off. That is the reason why I'm not going to watch the movie. But it will work for some people, right? It may not work for me. I won't go to a hall to watch it, but it will work for others, especially for young couples during the Valentine's Day week. They want to take their girlfriends to for a movie which is a little light, casual. They can enjoy themselves. I think this is straight up the alley, and they would probably go for this movie hands down. So, but with a caveat that maybe Fighter still might eat up a little bit of business of this. Oh God, what a big name it has. Anyways, so uh, but still, it's a love story, so probably they might go for that over Fighter. Again, that is just my personal perception or viewpoint. This is actually, if you say, a very safe movie for the Valentine's Day week, and that is going to fetch them a very good initial. I mean to say, the initial opening will be good based on this, and when people go ahead and watch it, if it is somewhat, I would say, I feel it's an average movie, judging from the promos. It's just a comedy with a kind of a new kind of a twist thrown in that the girl is the robot. But suppose from average, it is a good movie. I mean to say, it has something more. It has a little more like substance, as I told you, the moral dilemmas or the predicaments. If that is thrown in short measure, and that makes the movie a little more interesting and substantive, and it goes from average to good, and the initial audience reaction, they really love it. It can actually grow from there also. So these are the factors basically based on which I would say this movie should be working. in my opinion, तेरी बातों में ऐसे उलझा जिया is going to work. I feel it is going to be a hit. I cannot predict whether it's going to be a blockbuster or not. Various factors, uh, based on which I feel that it is going to be a hit, as I have enunciated to you. Um, I won't be watching that movie, but please don't take it otherwise. Um, I'll be frank with you, a person who's deep into, again, as I told you, her, Megan, Black Mirror. These are the kinds of the entertainment some people watch. The moment they watch this, they've already evolved to a certain level. Don't take it otherwise. I'm not saying me as a human being, but me as my entertainment preferences have evolved to a certain level, and I cannot bring them down to a certain level and pay money to watch it in a hall. So I'm not going to do that. I will wait for the OTT release and watch Teri Baaton mein Aisa Uljha Jiya. But I wish the very best to the makers of this movie. I hope it is a great hit, and you've all worked hard. It shows, and you are doing a good job in promoting the movie in an albeit subtle way, which is working for this movie. So that is there to it. Best of luck to everyone, to the makers, and hope you like this segment. Thank you.